Welcome to this Qualoupe class in which we're going to look at the Roles Manager. So I have the Roles Manager as a shortcut on my favourites, so we'll launch that. As you can see, the Roles Manager opens up with the data preloaded. Many of the Qualoupe screens, they open with a blank page and you must load the data, but Roles Manager is one of the ones where the data is presented to you straight away. So on the left here we have a list of the existing roles that are in the system. Qualoupe comes with some pre-created roles which you can choose from. So what we'll do is we'll dive straight in and we'll create a new one. So I'm going to click on New Role. And we'll give my role a name, so I'm going to call this one Training. And I can put this is a demo. And I'm going to save my changes. Okay, so I've created my new role. It appears on the list on the left hand side, but we haven't done any setting up in it yet. So we'll go through the tabs one at a time across the middle and show you what they do. So the tab that's to the fore is Users, and you can see on the right hand side of a list of available Qualoupe users, and there's a box here for the users that are assigned. We haven't assigned any yet because the role has just been created, so let's add me and administrator, and we'll add one more person as well. They get added to the assigned box and then save changes. You can actually select everybody and add them all at once if you want to, but I didn't want to do that. I just did one at a time by clicking on the button. I actually think if you double click on them as well, it'll add them across. Yeah, double clicking will add them. Well, I may as well save that now. Okay, so the list of available people to add are users on the system who are flagged as Qualoupe users. So we'll move on to the next tab. Similar sort of thing. We have a list of available applications and a list that are assigned, and a little note here saying assigning an application will give it the permissions listed on the General Permissions tab. There's probably nothing on General Permissions by default. Nope, thought not. Well, we'll show you that in a moment. So I'm going to add an application, so you can scroll down in this list. You could use the filter if you're looking for one in particular. So if I typed in batch, it filters it down to Batch Manager, and we'll add that. I'll just clear that filter. So I've now added the Batch Manager. So I save the changes and I move along to Application Permissions. I'll click on the Batch Manager, which I've just added, and you can see, similar to the other screens, we have the right-hand window containing what's available and the left-hand window containing what's been assigned. So in this tab it's the permissions. So I will add create, update and print. So create means the ability to create a new batch record, and it's batch because we're in the Batch Manager. Update is the ability to make changes to that record that you've created or someone else has created, and print is obviously the ability to print. So I'm going to save these. I haven't assigned delete, which is delete the record from the system, nor have I assigned certify, which will enable a button enabling you to print a certificate of analysis for the batch. I haven't added that for now. Contract review is a specific bit of functionality, and there's a separate Qualoupe video that deals with the functionality of that, so I won't add that. Now, I could then go back into applications and add them one at a time, and then go to application permissions and add the permissions. But as this handy note tells us, if you assign an application, it will have the permissions listed on the General Permissions tab. So if I now go to General Permissions, you can see we have Create, Update, Delete and Print. So if I checked Create, Update and Print, I'm going to leave out Delete because we don't want our training users to be deleting records. Save records. Okay, so I've now set these general permissions on this tab. If I go back to Applications and add some more applications, so we'll have, let's have a look, Sample Manager, Sample Storage, what else shall I add? Consumables Manager. I'll clear that and I'll show you the alternative way, which is just the old-fashioned way to scroll down and find things. They're arranged in alphabetical order, so it makes it a little bit easier. I'm looking for Project Manager, and I'll double-click on that to add it. Save these. So now, if I go to the Application Permissions, and I highlight one of these that I've added, see they're still, I'm not quite sure why they're still blue, but they have been added. You can see they've all got Create, Update and Print, because that is what we've got on the General Permissions. So if I go to Sample Manager, I've added Create, Print and Update, but some of the applications it's a little bit more sophisticated than that. There are more functions that are available which have permissions associated with them. So for Sample Manager we have the ability to validate results, so we'll add that, and to approve samples. Again, we have certify on here, and we've got add methods. So I'll say we can add methods, but I might want to leave out delete methods. These are all additional things that only relate to the sample application. So I'll save the changes again. So we've added some different privileges to the Sample Manager. Things like sample storage, it only has print and update because it's just showing you where samples are stored. Consumables Manager, it's got the basic 4 on it. Batch has got, as we saw before, certified contract review, and Sample has got probably more privileges to be assigned than any other application because samples going through the system is the main business of the LIMS, so therefore there's more functionality surrounding samples. Okay, so we've assigned the general permissions, so that's what automatically gets added to the applications. We can further edit them. And there's one final tab to show you in here, which is Settings. And there are 2 settings currently that are set for the role, Auto Approve and Auto Valid. So Auto Valid is if you enter a result for a parameter and that result does not break the limits, does not break the fail limits, then the parameter status will automatically go to V for validated. If your result you enter breaks the limit, it won't. It'll still have to be manually validated. So we might want to set that. So we'll double click on that. This little box pops up that allows you to edit the setting. So we'll check auto valid, continue. That's now changed to true. But we might say, okay, we're going to auto validate, but we still want approval, which is the final sample status, sample approval. We want that to be manual. Otherwise, if all your results automatically were validated or were manually validated, the sample would go straight to a status of approved. So, seeing as this is a training role, should I say, we probably don't particularly want your samples to automatically go to approve. We probably need a supervisor to look over them. So, if I was to look at another role, such as administrator, oh, that's got them reversed. So we've got auto approve is true, but auto validate is false. So in other words, the supervisor has to manually look over and validate the results. But once they've validated them, the sample will then go to a status of auto approve. If I return to training, I have one more thing to show you in here, which is, if I scroll across, right hand corner up here we have manage appearance. So if I'll click on that, you'll see what that does. So this box opens up in which you can choose the background colour of the tab and also the background image, and also if you want to move it around a bit. So let's change the colour. You have a selection of colours to choose from. I'm going to choose pale pastel yellow, and I'm going to change the image. I'll change it to, I think it's number 1. It's the one I like. A little bit more subtle, and in fact I can grab that and drag that around if I want to. Nope, it's not dragging. Oh well, never mind. I'll leave it where it is then. The images you choose, I'm getting a preview there, the images you choose have to be available on your server. So if you particularly wanted to put a specific background image, such as a company logo or even perhaps a bit of text with information for your users that you want them to see, you just have to load that up into the images folder, or obviously you'll need an administrator to do this, but the images will have to be loaded up onto your server where the system images are kept. So if I click on continue for that and save changes, I'm logged into the system as admin, as you can see up here, and I've added admin to this role. Therefore, if I go back to the home page, you can see on the right hand end there my new tab has been created. That you get one tab for each role that you're assigned to. Now admin, because it's the system administrator, just tends to get assigned to everything, so I've got all the roles along here, but here's my new training one. If I click on that, you can see it's got the background image I selected and it's a pale yellow colour, and these are the applications that I added. So hopefully this video has been useful, and thank you very much for looking at it. Bye.